The world is a harsh and unforgiving place. It is filled with trials and tribulations, with victories hard won and defeats that cut deep. Nowhere is this more apparent than in the sting of rejection. It is an experience as old as time itself, etched into the very fabric of human existence. But what if I told you that rejection, this seemingly insurmountable obstacle, could be transformed into an indomitable source of strength? The ancient Stoics, those masters of self-mastery, believed precisely that. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." These words, echoing through the ages, hold the key to unlocking a powerful truth. Rejection, though painful, is not the end. It is, in fact, a beginning. By adopting the principles of Stoicism, we can learn to face rejection with resilience, to harness its energy, and to emerge from the crucible of adversity stronger than ever before. Stoicism teaches us a fundamental principle. We must distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. It is a deceptively simple idea, yet its implications are profound. In the realm of rejection, this distinction becomes paramount. You cannot control the opinions of others. You cannot dictate the circumstances that life throws your way. You cannot, through sheer force of will, bend the universe to your every desire. To attempt such a feat is to invite frustration, resentment, and ultimately despair. But there is one arena where your power reigns supreme: your own mind. Your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, these are your domain. It is here, in the inner sanctum of your being, that you choose how you respond to rejection. Instead of dwelling on the sting of rejection, on the perceived injustice of it all, shift your focus, turn inward. Ask yourself, what can I control in this situation? The answer, invariably, is yourself. Marcus Aurelius, in his profound meditations, gifted us with a potent phrase: "The obstacle is the way." It is a concept as counterintuitive as it is liberating. We are wired to avoid obstacles, to see them as impediments to our progress, as harbingers of frustration and defeat. But the Stoic perspective challenges us to see obstacles differently, to view them not as roadblocks but as stepping stones. Rejection in this light is not an end, but a redirection. It is a force that pushes us, often unwillingly, onto a new path, a path that might ultimately lead to greater things. Consider the entrepreneur who faces rejection after rejection before finally securing funding, or the artist whose work is initially dismissed, only to later be hailed as a masterpiece. In each case, the obstacle, the sting of rejection, became the catalyst for growth, innovation, and eventual triumph. Embrace the obstacles in your path. Do not shy away from rejection. Instead, meet it head-on and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to improve, to adapt, and to ultimately to succeed? Imagine for a moment you're standing before a door, you push on it, expecting it to open inward, but it doesn't budge. Now, most people, they'd stop right there. They'd assume the door is locked, that their path is blocked. They'd see this as a defeat. But what if, instead of giving up, you tried something else? What if you considered the possibility that the door opens outward? See, rejection, much like that seemingly locked door, is often a matter of perspective. It's not necessarily a sign of your inadequacy or a dead end, but rather a redirection. It's life, in its often chaotic wisdom, nudging you towards a different path, a path you may not have even considered, a path that might be infinitely better suited to you. So, the next time you encounter rejection, don't despair. Don't let it solidify into a concrete barrier in your mind. Instead, step back, reassess, and ask yourself, what if this rejection is not the end, but rather a redirection to something more fitting, more aligned with my true potential? Now, I'm not suggesting that you become an emotionless automaton, incapable of feeling the sting of rejection. That's not Stoicism. That's repression, and it's a dangerous game to play with your psyche. What I am suggesting is the cultivation of a certain emotional detachment. This isn't about denying your feelings, but rather about observing them, acknowledging them, and then, crucially, not letting them dictate your actions. See, rejection often comes with a tidal wave of negativity, self-doubt, anger, resentment. These emotions, while powerful, are fleeting. They are like storms, violent but ultimately temporary. Don't allow these transient storms to uproot the grounded oak of your being. Weather the storm with composure and clarity. Remember, you are not your emotions. You are the captain of your ship, navigating the often turbulent waters of life. There's an ancient proverb, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. And so it is with life. It's the challenges, the setbacks, the rejections that forge our character, hone our resilience, and ultimately propel us towards growth. Think of a lump of coal buried deep within the earth. It's only under immense pressure and heat that it transforms into something beautiful, valuable, enduring, a diamond. Rejection, my friends, can be that pressure, that heat. It has the potential to break you, yes, but it also has the potential to refine you, to burn away your impurities and reveal the strength and resilience that lies within. So embrace the fire of rejection. Don't shy away from it. Allow it to temper you, to shape you, to transform you into a stronger, wiser, more resilient version of yourself. Life, in its raw and untamed essence, constantly bombards us with stimuli. Rejection in its many forms is but one such stimuli, a jarring chord in the symphony of existence. But we are not merely ships adrift, tossed and turned by the relentless waves of experience. No, we are far more than that. The Stoics, those masters of self-mastery, understood this deeply. They knew that between the external event, the sting of rejection, and our response to it, lies a space. It's a crucial space, a pregnant pause where our conscious awareness can take hold of the reins. This is not about suppressing our emotions, you see. It's about harnessing their energy, about transforming the raw impulse into something measured, something tempered by reflection. In the quiet of that pause, we can ask ourselves, what is this rejection truly telling me? Is it a wall blocking me forever, or perhaps a gate requiring a different approach, a new set of skills to unlock its potential? Remember, life is not a linear progression, but a labyrinth of sorts. Each seeming setback, each rejection is an opportunity to reorient ourselves, to learn the lay of the land, and to chart a course toward our goals with greater wisdom and resilience. We live in a world obsessed with comfort, with the avoidance of pain and the pursuit of immediate gratification. But this, you see, this is a dangerous path. It weakens us, makes us brittle and fragile in the face of life's inevitable challenges. For what is life if not a series of challenges, of opportunities for growth disguised as obstacles? The Stoics understood that true strength, true resilience is forged not in the absence of hardship, but in the crucible of voluntary discomfort. When we willingly step outside our comfort zones, when we embrace the cold shower, the grueling workout, the difficult conversation, we are, in essence, preparing ourselves for the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Think of it as a form of training, a way of inoculating ourselves against the sting of rejection. By acclimating ourselves to discomfort, we build up a tolerance, a kind of psychological callus that allows us to weather the storms of life with greater equanimity. This is not about seeking out suffering, mind you. It's about understanding that true growth, true strength lies just beyond the boundaries of our comfort zones. It's about choosing the path of most resistance, not because it's easier, but because it forges us into the individuals we are capable of becoming. Criticism often feels personal, wounding us deeply. But what if we saw it as valuable feedback? The Stoics believed every piece of feedback holds the seed of self-improvement. Even harsh criticism offers insight into how our actions are perceived. It's a gift, a potentially painful but valuable gift. We must discern, separating the wheat from the chaff. Life is about striving for excellence, becoming our best selves. Life is a chaotic and unpredictable affair. This is something the Stoics understood deeply. It's full of twists and turns, unexpected setbacks, and yes, even rejection. But amidst this chaos, there's a profound truth, and that truth is this: nothing worth having comes easy. Think about the things you value most in life, the accomplishments that bring you deep satisfaction. Were they achieved overnight, or did they require years, perhaps even decades of dedicated effort? You see, the path to any meaningful pursuit is paved with obstacles, and rejection is just one of those obstacles. It's easy to become disheartened when things don't go our way, to fall into the trap of thinking, why me, or why now? But the Stoics would urge us to resist this temptation. They would remind us that the universe doesn't operate on our timeline. It unfolds according to its own rhythm, its own grand design. So, cultivate patience. Embrace the idea that the seeds of your efforts may take time to germinate. Understand that rejection, while painful in the moment, is simply a bend in the road, not the end of it. Remember, life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in the marathon of life, patience is not just a virtue, it's a necessity. The human experience is fraught with challenges. We face setbacks, disappointments, and yes, even rejection. It's an inevitable part of the human condition. But here's the thing about rejection. It's not unique to you. It's a universal experience. Every single person on this planet has tasted the bitter sting of rejection at some point in their lives. They didn't let rejection define them. They used it as fuel to persevere. Remember, you are not alone. Millions have walked this path before you. We live in an age of instant gratification. Technology has conditioned us to expect immediate results and constant validation, but life rarely unfolds predictably. Meaningful endeavors often face detours and roadblocks. Setting realistic expectations is crucial. Unrealistic expectations lead to disappointment. Rejection hits harder when we expect instant success. Grounding ourselves in reality builds resilience. The Stoics embraced challenges. They saw obstacles as growth opportunities. Set realistic expectations to avoid unnecessary suffering. Cultivate grounded optimism. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Remember, happiness comes from accepting what we can't control. Life is a series of challenges, a relentless dance with chaos and order, and within this dance, rejection and failure are not anomalies, but rather inevitable aspects of the human experience. Now, the undisciplined mind, the mind seeking the path of least resistance, will interpret failure as a stop sign, a signal to retreat. But you are a student of life, a seeker of wisdom. You must understand that every failure, every stumble, every rejection carries within it the seed of a profound lesson. These lessons, however, are not found in the bitterness of defeat or the self-pitying narratives we often construct. No, the wisdom embedded in failure is found in the process of honest reflection, in the courageous act of dissecting our mistakes, understanding where we went wrong and how we might act differently in the future. So embrace your failures, do not shy away from them, analyze them, learn from them, and allow them to forge within you an unbreakable spirit, one capable of transforming setbacks into stepping stones on the path to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. We live in a world obsessed with external validation, a world where likes and followers often dictate our sense of self-worth, but this is a dangerous game, a recipe for a life of quiet desperation. Why? Because when your sense of self is contingent on the whims of others, you become a slave to their opinions. The need for validation, you see, is rooted in insecurity, a lack of belief in one's own inherent value. It's a fragile existence, constantly seeking approval from the outside world, always worried about what others might think. And this fear, this constant need for approval will cripple you, prevent you from taking the necessary risks to achieve greatness. True strength, the kind that can withstand the storms of life, comes from within. It comes from cultivating self-respect, from knowing your own value, independent of external praise or criticism. It comes from aligning your actions with your principles, from striving to be the best version of yourself, regardless of who's watching or applauding. So let go of the need for validation. Embrace your own counsel. Trust your judgment. Walk your own path. And remember, the only approval you truly need is your own. The Stoic philosophers, Marcus Aurelius among them, understood that life is a tapestry woven from both triumph and tribulation, rejection, failure, disappointment. These are not anomalies. They are the threads that give our successes meaning, that add depth and texture to the grand narrative of our lives. Rejection is not a roadblock, it's a stepping stone. It's an opportunity to reassess, to adapt, to emerge stronger and wiser. With Marcus Aurelius' Stoic wisdom as your guide, you can transform rejection into growth, failure into resilience, and disappointment into steely determination. Remember, what stands in the way becomes the way. Now go forth, embrace the challenges ahead, and write your own story of triumph over adversity. Subscribe for more Stoic insights and share your story in the comments.